Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I have a great gift for you guys. It's called the BusyWorks Beats Sampler 2. It is completely free and now super easy to install. We've created what's called a download manager. Inside the download manager, if you guys go to where it says plugins after you sign up and log in, you'll see where you can download the Sampler 2 here, and then go to where it says libraries to access all of our libraries. Some are paid. The free one is called the factory library, so click here and install that. And once you guys have that, you can go into your DAW of choice, rescan the plugins, and it will pop up. So in this video, I'm going to go through how this plugin works and just how to make it sound dope. So off the bat, you have a dope starting sound. On the left side, you guys will see the new library area. We've added more easy search functions. So if you want to search by the sound type, you could quickly just hit brass and then pull up a preset. Just like that. Or we can go, let's say, strings and then use something different. That was not the greatest performance there, but you guys can get the gist here. So the reason the sound feels more full is because we've added a new section under the effects tab called analog strip. And by default, I've set it to where I like the settings, and you guys will most likely like it. If not, just turn it off. What it does is it adds that extra depth and dimensionality that you get from analog gear straight into your sound. So now all the sounds we've had before now have an extra dimension to it. And it just makes them feel more real. So let's go to like a mallet sound here. All right, so what we're gonna do is show you guys some effects here. So you guys can go on the left side and go through different libraries. You guys can also use third-party libraries. You guys may have seen me use things like Sky Keys and Scorch Sounds. Now these require the actual plugin, so you have to purchase these at saucewareaudio.com. Go purchase Scorch, and you can load up Scorch Sounds right inside of our plugin here. So Scorch offers what are called SFZ files, and that's why they can load up inside of this plugin. Okay, so shout out to Jacob from Sauceware Audio. So you can load up this guitar. Let me turn it. And again, if it's too loud, just turn down the master. Okay, now we can also turn on what's called the effects lock, or basically just reset everything. And then turn off drive elements, reverb, delay type stuff. Okay, so you guys can load up third-party plugins as well, if they offer SFZ files for their libraries. So usually producer-made companies do this, like Sauceware Audio or even Sky Keys. I know you guys love Sky Keys, so you can load up Sky Keys right inside the sounds, right inside of the sampler as well. And now you guys can use the effects in the workflow of this plugin. So let's build on a Sky Keys patch just to show you guys how this works. So we're going to take Sky Keys, we're going to lower the octave here down. Let's do 2. All right, and let's go to the effects tab. So what I want to do is turn on delay. Delay has a lot of unique things. We could do reverse delay, we can do vibrato on the delay, we could do pitch bend delay. So let's add a pitch bend delay. Let's make this ping pong mode, and let's turn it on time sync so that it actually has a back and forthness to it. Now we're turning it into a completely different sound. Let's add a little chorus and a little reverb. In the reverb section, we've added more filtering so you guys can quickly chisel out the filter of the frequencies of the reverb. We also have a pitch modulation in the reverb as well. We can even add texture, so let's add, I think we have a water texture in here. Man, we've ocean waves, let's add that. And we can do a reverse randomize, meaning that it plays, we could do through the effect chain so that it feels cohesive with the sound. We could turn the levels up and even add filtering to the sound itself. Or just layered on top. So here's without the effect. Here's with. All right, so we've added new effects here. Spring reverb, there's granular mode. We have a formant filter, a resonator. We have this bode shift effect and a key resonator as well. And we've added this analog strip to add that extra dimension. So for this sound, I'm not gonna overly add effects, but I'm just showing you guys what we have. And let me see what else. We went deeper into the mod matrix. Now this is not going to be Serum 2's mod matrix. I'm not, it's just not going that deep. We could do things like, for example, add an LFO over the filter. And then add the filter to the front panel here. And then have the LFO modulate, that specific source. We can also tempo sync it so that it's personally, I don't like this sound. I wouldn't do too much modulation on this sound in particular, but I'm just showing you guys we can turn that on for sure. Okay, so let's go to the new preset browser. So the difference between presets and sound sources is that presets are combinations of sound sources, and the sound sources can be found on the left side in the library. So it's a mixture of presets and sound sources. So think of it like Omnisphere, how you have different presets and then you can go to the sample layer to choose a specific sample. So that's how we approached this here. So let's go to the preset browser and we can we can filter based on the library. So let's go based on the factory library. So these factory library presets are free. So the paid libraries are when you guys want to go deeper with your sound. So let me just show you real quick the factory library. Let me switch back. Okay, so the factory library has 75 presets inside. And then we move to Halo 3D, which is a paid library that has 133 presets. Again, presets are just sound sources, and then you guys can twist them to do whatever you want. Helios has 103. Hercules has 263. That comes from our Hercules plugin. Same with the Halo 3D. These sounds are ported over from our plugins for those who purchase those. Hypnos is pulled over from the plugin as well with 125 sounds in here. And then again, you can import third-party plugins if they have SFZ formats, which you can import straight here by clicking this add library button. So let's go to Hercules, for example. Hercules is good for bells and bass. It just has really cut through bass, and we can sort this way. We can go through category inside of the library itself. So we click off of bass and let's just go to Hercules. Let's go to bass and then start choosing sound. So now we're building a sound from scratch. Let's pull the octave down. And the basses are really dope because you can layer them without stuff clashing. And by layer, I'm talking about with your other drums. And on the voice mode right here, you guys can turn on what's called polyphonic, mono, or legato to create a slur effect. Now for bass, I'm going to go mono. All right, so let me go back to the library here. Let's start arranging something. Let's create an actual track. Let me just duplicate this. And let's do some keys first. So I'm going to do 4 layers. We're going to do a top line. We're going to do harmony. We're going to do a contrast layer and see if we can blend in some rhythm. So let's start off with the factory library and let's go to keys and let's choose a sound here. Now let's just record at 140 BPM. All right, so now we got the chords. Start building on this. Now the new FL, I don't know why it just does this. Let's record again. Just got to get that first chord in. It's just the new FL, just, I don't know. All right, so I just had to manually go back and do that chord. So here's the first chord. All right, now let's add some bass into this track here. So we're going to use sampler 2 using the Hercules library for that bass. And again, the bass is it's full of bass, but it doesn't overwhelm everything to where the bass has to be the main character. It just sits in its own spot and it's there. All right, so let's add this in. All right, so now we have the bass. There's a couple notes I want to fix. So let's just hit Control up because it's easier to hear the notes. Here's where I just messed up the note. All right, so now we got the notes right. Let's just pull them back down, Control down. Now let's take off one effect on the keys for now. It's the reverse reverb or the reverse delay that's pitched down. So let's go here, figure out which one it is. I think it's the reverb. Let's turn that off for now. We do kind of lose the vibe on this sound, just simply turning off the reverb, so I'm actually going to turn it back on. Let's just get rid of the tuning down. That's what the P mix stands for, the pitch. It stands for pitch mix, reverb pitch mix. Now we got the bass. Let's add a top line in here. Let's add some like bells or something in here. Or some kind of mallet. And for bells, Hercules is a really good library. We sampled a lot of analog gear for this library, Hercules. Let's go to Halo 3D. This is also one of our really good libraries. Now, it doesn't have bells necessarily, so let's see what else we could find in here. Okay, it's just under plucked. So we're just playing the chords just spread out, and I'm going to go back and swap that sound. Let's just play the first chords here. There, I messed up. Let's take the second half. So the top line is really just the chords repeated, just spread out over time. So notice every sound has its own place. It's not clashing. They're all just in their own space. And that's because of the new analog strip effect. It just helps everything separate. Let's see if we can find a different sound here. Let's just stick with this one. Let's add some delay to the sound. Let's do ping pong. Let's do sync mode. And let's add a little vibrato to the delay. Add a longer feedback time. Let's pull back the mix. Let's up the decay curvature of the reverb, up the size of the reverb, cut out the lows, even though there's not really low information on the notes. Let's turn the analog mode up a little bit so it pulls forward. Also take off the alternative panning. Now I'm going to quantize these notes. Let's hit Shift Q and that will quantize to our metronome. To our snap to grid, whatever that value is. Let's also remove overlaps here. I'm going to quantize these chords as well. I'm also going to quantize the bass just for this beat. Let's turn down that top line a little bit. So now you just need some drums. So we're just going to put in a basic drum. I don't have time to really sit here and go through everything about the hi-hats. So a very basic beat here. Again, we're using BusyWorks Beat Sampler 2. We have a new download manager. You guys can download your libraries and plugins inside of here, and it makes it so much easier now to keep track of everything. You can also start your free trials in there for other plugins. Let's add one more sound in here. Now what I'm going to do on this last sound is actually hit randomize. So I didn't go through everything about the plugin. We have the main tab, which is where we adjust the layers. We have the presets where we go through different presets I've made for you guys. And then we have the synth tab. We didn't cover the synth tab as much because really it's a subsection of the preset. More for sound designers and people who want to tweak specific sounds. Then we have the mod area, which I rarely use because I just don't need to modulate the sounds. In the one-shot area, here's the cool area where we're still making updates. And the new update, you'll be able to drag and drop a sample. For now, you can load up one-shots from our one-shot library that comes factory loaded. And you can preview the sounds hitting this little play button. And let's say you want to add in a pluck. You could just play the sound, and then you can click it to load it up on that specific slot that you have highlighted. So if you click on slot 2, it will load the sound into slot 2. And then from here, you can hit auto tune, and it will look at the one shots and pitch correct them if they're not at middle C. And you can also tune these manually by semitones. And so let's say I want to pull this one up an octave so it stands out. We can also loop sounds that aren't even really meant to be looped. We could do forward and backward looping, for example, and mess with the crossfade and the loop start points. So now we have a one shot that goes like wow, wow. Sounds like a filter, but really it's a forward backward looping one shot. Now we can add these really unique things that just didn't exist on the sound. You can also add a pitch envelope and give it a curvature, so I can have this decay curvature. So it goes meow. And just add these little textures over top of the track. Let's pull this back down an octave, see what kind of, and now start adding in effects here. Okay, so now we have a really unique sound that just, okay, and then we can turn up the mix level. We can add textures in here. So we have multiple textures like electric buzz sounds. Just for that extra little envelope follow, basically follows the way we play the notes. So we'll add texture to the actual notes and not just play over top. So there's a lot of different things we could do. We could add the high pass filter. Let's add a longer decay to the reverb. Cut out the lows. Let's go to our granular mode. Let's mess with the size of the grains. Try my halftime trick on the reverb, pulling down the reverb down 12 semitones. Now the one shots, they're very strong, so let's pull back some of the attack just so it sounds more pads like. So now we have this super dreamy sound. On the front panel, we can also turn on what's called alternative panning, and that is basically a left-right pan style that I really liked. We can turn off vibrato. So you guys can get really creative with the one shots. We also have unison on the one shots. You guys want to detune them out further. Alright, so another thing you guys can do is hit the random button. This will randomize everything from one shots to the synth to even the sound layers, and it creates really unique sounds that you just would never think of. So I just hit random. Now it's going to pull from every library you guys have. Okay, so some of the sounds you guys may be hearing are from just various libraries. You guys can always check under the synth tab. It will tell you which library it's from right here. So this is from Hypnos, the keys. But we're layering in a synth as well as the one shots as well. So it creates a really unique stack of sounds. Alright, so let's hit random one more time, just to see. We never know what we're going to get. It's truly random. So let's see what we get now. So this way you guys can actually create your own sound and literally hit save and save it as a preset. So once you hit save, you could save it. You could choose which library you're going to save it to. And then I recommend you just keep it on user preset and then just give it a name. So let's see what this one sounds like. Let's do it one more time. Let's see what we get. Here we got a sound from Scorch blended in with, let's see what sounds we got. So let's go to the synth tab and click on that layer. So it tells me this is from Scorch, and then we have another sound from Halo 3D, which is a bass tone. And on the one shots, this is some one shots. So okay, let's go here. Let's make sure we have the analog turned on. And I'm going to take off some of these effects here. Now, when we have FX lock on, whenever you move to a different preset, it will keep those effects enabled. So pretty dope. And again, we can still add more effects. Let's hit random one more time just to see. Now, one of these sounds is a low octave, so I just have to go in and correct it. I think it's the bass octave here. Now, on the bass layer, you can actually adjust the octave straight in the synth tab. That way we're not getting too low of a frequency. Now from here I might add things like alternative panning, and then I might add chorusing, a little delay, which seems like we already have, and then reverb with a long tail. Now this sound I would use simple triads because it's such a big tone. Just showing you guys, like, it's not supposed to be a Serum 2 approach. It's just supposed to be something that puts you in the vibe to. And then we also are working on a library called Need for Sounds Underground 2. Alright, so I'm just showing you guys. Now when you load up sounds from different libraries, the background changes to that library. So either we've been getting lucky or the plugin pulls, with a really fun way to sound good. So I did about five random refreshes. And we can go in and customize it even further. Let's hit random one more time. This is the last time I'm going to hit random, so hopefully this is a good sound. Just showing you guys what this sounds like. Now we're using source sound here. So like one of the tones, it's just a little high. Let's pull the whole octave down. Now again, if we want to hear what this sounds like, even without third-party stuff like Scorch, for example, we can go in and we could just turn off those layers. Let's hear what it sounds like. So I forgot the chords. Okay, so one of these. So again, we can go into the one shots and change the octave there. I think we are layering an effect. So that main sound here is the so again, these do not come loaded in the Scorch. The Scorch library does not come loaded in the BusyWorks Beats Sampler 2. I'm just letting you guys know. So I'm just showing you guys you can load up third-party stuff. We're just hitting random, so again, it pulls from every single library. Okay, so I'm not choosing which libraries it's pulling from. So I'm hit random one more time. I'm trying to pull a sound that's not from the Scorch library to show you guys the other libraries, but it keeps pulling from Scorch stuff. So we're going to end this video here. Shout out to Software Audio and Scorch, one of my favorite plugins because it's producer made. All right, y'all. So go to busyworksbeats.com and grab Sampler 2. It's free. The factory library is free and the plugin is free. The paid libraries are the Helios, Halo 3D, Hercules, and Hypnos, if I didn't already say that. So thank you guys for watching. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace out, guys.